Growing up, I was always reminded of two things. One was it's better to be seen but not heard, which really meant keep your mouth shut and pay attention. The other one was it's better to be heard but not seen. And that really got me confused because it conflicted with the first one. But when you really broke it down, it really meant get your point across without being obnoxious in a crowd. Now, it's funny, but I'm sure that they didn't even think about this, and I didn't even know this myself because I was so small when I was being taught these lessons, but they were preparing me for my career in audio because the same holds true. Sometimes it's better to be seen but not heard. Sometimes it's better to be heard but not seen. Let's start by setting the stage properly. That means bringing in the right equipment for the event that you're going to do. Like you see right here, this is a big, huge stage. They had to bring in scaffoldings and speakers and amps, all to get that sound out there to the audience. Then there's that mobile DJ who went out and invested a lot of money into some great speakers, but there's one thing that they forgot to take into consideration. They're the only person on the team. So now not only do they have to be the DJ or the entertainer, but they also have to be the roadie as well. I wouldn't want to have to haul all of this into every event. I'd rather follow the keep it simple, stupid method. But remembering you're trying to get quality sound out there. Like you see right here, a very elegant yet simple stage that has the right type of equipment for the event, and they can get that message across. And when they're done, pack it up nicely like this and take it home. But be careful with that KISS method because you might not use too much equipment. You might use the wrong equipment for your event, like this gentleman right here. Don't be a goofy. And that includes microphones too. You don't want to go out and assume that all microphones are treated equally, because they're not. Microphones come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and even those for very specific functions like an instrument microphone. So be very careful of the microphone that you select to use. As you can see right now, I'm using a dynamic microphone from Shure. It's the Shure SM58, which is arguably one of the more popular microphones in the audio industry today. It is a cardioid unidirectional microphone, which means that the pattern, if you could see the pattern of the microphone, looks like a mushroom. It comes out off the back and comes around to the front. And it only picks up audio within the boundaries of that capture, and the frequency response is around 50 hertz to 15 kilohertz. And while this is a solid microphone in the audio industry, it still has its drawbacks. One, this is the wired SM58, right? So if I wanted to use this microphone in any given setting, I have to have a microphone cable long enough to support that production requirement. If not, when I move that microphone around, and you can see I have mine on a stand, if I move it around, sometimes it won't pick up the mic audio as good as it should be because I'm not in front of that mic pattern that is over there now. So if I want to bring that mic back over here, the audio comes back to what it should be, a nice, rich, clean sound. So if I think that I'm going to be walking around and needing a microphone, this little case right here contains the gem that'll get the job done. Inside of this case contains one of the most extremely cool wireless systems that I've been introduced to. This is the Shure PGX 1493, and that's a lot of numbers because in this case contains a lot of stuff. The PGX wireless series is a system that combines superior wireless technology with automatic setup features and the legendary Shure microphones that you've grown and loved over the years, and they deliver the best sounding, easiest to use systems in their class. This is an awesome system. Let's take a look inside of the case. First of all, this case is a very rugged, high plastic impact case. A good solid lock is always good to hear because you know it's going to keep this case shut each and every time you need it to stay shut, to protect your investment. And to further your protection, Shure thought a little bit further down the line. You see right here, there's another one right here. When we close our locking mechanisms, these dimples within the locking mechanism line up with holes on both sides of the handle that you can actually double padlock this case to protect that investment even further, so that every time you need to use your PGX 1493, it'll be there waiting for you. Let's open up the case and take a look, shall we? As we open up that case for the very first time, you're going to notice a couple of things. The first one is the Shure Performance Gear Wireless User's Guide. And you've heard me say this before on other videos on interface. Never throw away your product documentation. You never know when you're going to have to go back and refer to this for information about the product that you've made an investment into. So put this aside for a rainy day. As you see here, a very well foam-lined case protecting all of the investments, keeping them separated and organized, ready for use every time you go out on the road. Down over here is a little place for the batteries that actually are used with the transmitter in the PGX 1493, which is located right over here. This is the PGX1 transmitter, and we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. Let's set this aside. As we go to the right, you see this big block right here. This is the Performance Gear Wireless PGX4 receiver that PGX1 transmitter will transmit to, and this will go into your outboard mixer. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. Over here is a box that contains your power supply, and down here is a series of wires and a little bitty case right here. The first thing you're going to notice is a 3-foot long 1/4-inch microphone cable. If you do need a longer cable, just go to your online cable distributor or your local music store and get yourself a cable that's long enough for your application. Below this cable is the magical L93 lavalier mic, and we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. And in this little case is kind of a couple of things that I found interesting that they would include. One is a buttonhole mount for the L93. So if you do have a button-up shirt, you can place this in any buttonhole slot and contain that mic really close to your shirt, making it even more transparent. They've also included a windscreen for the L93. Very useful if you're out in a windy situation. So let's go ahead and set up the Shure PGX 1493 for use, and let's hear the difference between it and the SM58. Now I'm going to take out all of the items that I need to get this microphone set up in use. Here's the L93 microphone. I need that. I've already taken the power supply out of the white box and plugged it into a power source, so we're ready to go on that. I need my batteries for my transmitter. I'm going to need my transmitter right here. This is the PGX1. And I'm also going to need the PGX4 receiver. Let's take everything else that we don't need. I don't need my microphone cable that came with the PGX 1493. I went out and bought a longer cable that actually works better with my application. And the user guide, I'm going to put it back here in the case so it's ready for use the next time that I need to read the manufacturer's guide. Let's start by setting up the PGX4 receiver that you see right here. There are 2 antennas on this receiver because this is a true diversity receiver with 2 receivers in it, giving you better reception in even the most toughest conditions. The Shure PGX4 receiver makes wireless setup a snap with features like automatic frequency selection and the automatic transmitter setup. The PGX4 offers the best wireless to performance on the go, and I'm telling you, I've used this in a lot of different setups, and this thing holds its own. A very nice receiver. And the PGX wireless system features a patented audio reference companding for crystal clear sound beyond the limits of conventional wireless technology. It has 90 selectable frequencies across 18 megahertz bandwidth and up to 12 compatible systems that we talked about early. 1/4-inch wave antennas and microprocessor controller in a true diversity mode, 2 of them, and a channel display LED right here in the front, and XLR and 1/4-inch outputs in the back. So you have an option. If you want to run XLR, you can. If you want to run 1/4-inch, you can do that as well. So let's plug this little guy in and get it ready to go. The first thing we're going to take is our 1/4-inch adapter. I'm choosing to use a 1/4-inch adapter as opposed to an XLR input. So I'm going to plug that in right here. The next thing we're going to grab is the power source, and we're going to plug that in right here. This is a 12 to 18 volt, 160 milliamp power supply, and when we plug that into the back and we turn it around, you're going to notice it's all ready to go. It's that simple. You see the channel 6 right here, and we talked about up to 90 selectable frequencies that are available to you. But you don't have to think about this too much. You can obviously press the channel select button right here and go to another channel, but when you set this up with the PGX1, it's as simple as one button right here. So let's get the PGX1 and we'll show you how it's done. We have here the PGX1 body pack transmitter, which is designed to meet the needs of traveling performers. A very road-ready body pack transmitter indeed. And the PGX1 is available with the PGX wireless systems and is used for head-worn microphones. You probably have heard of them as Countryman microphones. Also the Lavalier microphones, instrument microphones, or guitar or bass uses. A very, very worthy body pack transmitter to take a look at. It has automatic transmitter setup, a multi-function LED indicator right here at the top, a 3-position gain switch inside of this transmitter for use on mic, zeroing it out, or a -10, and it operates on just 2 AA batteries, providing you 8 hours of continuous use. It operates at 18 megahertz and it has an operating range of 300 feet, giving you freedom during your performance to go anywhere on the stage that you need to be. All right, let's get the batteries loaded up and get this puppy running. Remember my rule of thumb, always use fresh, brand new batteries for every performance. It sounds a little excessive, but the last thing you want is a battery dropout during your performance. Don't get embarrassed. Invest $4 or $5 in some new batteries every single performance, and you'll be very happy with it. So let's get these batteries put inside. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn in the microphone transmitter on. By pressing the button, the green light turns on of the PGX1. You also see a light that's green on the PGX4 receiver saying ready. It's ready. It sees the transmitter, but maybe it's not operating on the most optimum frequency. So what you want to do is you want to press this button right here on the front of the PGX4, holding the PGX1 about 12 inches away from the PGX4, and what it will do is it will scan the air for the most open, clear frequency available and set the transmitter and the receiver for that frequency. So let's go ahead and do that right now. You see a little bit of a flicker on the LEDs and the transmitter and the receiver, and boom, it's that simple. We are ready to go. Now the little gem that's going to tie all of this together and make it possible for your audiences to hear you but not really see you, theoretically, is this little guy right here. This is a WL93 series sub-miniature condenser lavalier microphone. This thing is awesome, and the model WL93 is an economical omnidirectional sub-miniature lavalier condenser microphone designed for general speech applications where visually unobtrusive microphones is a desirable. So you want to be able to talk, be heard, but not seen. This is how you're going to do that. And all WL93 models include a cable terminated with a 4-pin mini connector, which is connected directly to the Shure wireless body pack transmitter when plugged in. Let me go ahead and connect this as a lavalier mic should be to my shirt and show you the difference between the SM58 and the WL93. So there you have it. I'm wearing the WL93 lavalier microphone. I'm talking into the Shure SM58 right now. Let's turn it down. Let's turn up the WL93, which is part of the PGX 1493 wireless kit from Shure. It retails for just a little bit above $400 to around $600 US, depending on your online choice of vendors. And if you'd like to see more videos just like this, keep tuned in to Interface each and every Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at live.scottydonline.com. See you, Web World.